ever since he's been elected, every day I wake up with a big smile on my face. And I realize that in Rhode Island, a lot of people wake up ready to vomit.
It's partisanship. It's a way of like zinging Democrats, etc. And it's illegal.
This is law enforcement. This is what Trump ran on. These are illegal aliens.
I hate the expression of aliens, okay? They're human beings, so they shouldn't be treated like aliens from an invasion from Mars.
And welcome into this episode of Lively. I'm Jim Hummel. Thanks for joining us. This week we have former Rhode Island Attorney General Arlene Violet, Joe Larisa, attorney and former chief of staff to Governor Almond back in the day. A proposal to keep Providence Police from cooperating with federal immigration officers is gaining steam as the Trump administration continues to look for those who are here in the country illegally. Arlene, let me talk with you. This is the news this week. A Providence City Council subcommittee is talking about some codification of what was passed years ago. Basically, the message is ICE, stay away. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, and also to hold Providence Police responsible if they do anything contrary to the ordinance that says they can't do anything to assist the ICE. Well, needless to say, I think the proposal just goes too far. It's understandable. I can understand why people are worried that look like a minority, for example, or look like they're an immigrant. You know, certainly priests and ministers, school teachers, librarians are all worried about children. Prosecutors are worried because when crime happens, you won't have people come forward, whether they're citizens or not, if they look like there's somebody who might be picked up. So it's understandable what the concern is, but no way should we be waiving the qualified immunity of police officers. As you know, police can be sued if what they do is unconstitutional and it's reasonable for them to know it's unconstitutional. Then you can, in fact, sue a police officer. In this case, this entire area of law is in flux, and the council wants to do away with that. That's unfair for the police officers that are involved. It's a conflict of interest for the council. They're supposed to be watching out for the taxpayers in Providence, not having to pay to defend these kinds of suits and/or a judgment, etc. And last but not least, this is a problem. We've got to keep police officers as the primary law enforcement unit taking care of law and violations of the law in the state, and the military has to stay out of it. ICE has a little bit of a role defending property, etc., but we shouldn't be mixing local police, the military, etc., in a state.
I want to look at the bigger picture. This is why we call us Rhode Island. We're an island. This is an overwhelming minority position on ICE and stopping illegal immigration. I realize in Rhode Island, it's very popular to say stop ICE. Nationwide, it's not. This is law enforcement. This is what Trump ran on. These are illegal aliens. They're not supposed to be here. They're subject to removal orders, or they are not validly in the United States. That's what ICE is doing. They are removing them. They're removing them throughout the country. We're putting the National Guard in Portland. We're putting the National Guard in Chicago. Those are going to be upheld on the ground that sanctuary cities are not letting Trump enforce the laws regarding immigration. This is going in the complete opposite direction. It's saying not only don't help, but we're going to go after the police who do. The administration will take notice, and as they've done in Boston and as they're doing in Providence, there's going to be more ICE. We should be more like Louisville. They said enough. We're going to protect our immigrant communities by cooperating. The ones who are illegal are going to go. We're not going to have ICE come in here and we're going and trigger the administration. We're going to not become a sanctuary city anymore. And then the ICE raids largely stopped. This is going to trigger the administration to come in and be more aggressive in their ICE raids. And again, you don't read it in the paper. These communities they're talking about, they're people who are not lawfully in the United States of America. Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi went to a ceremony out west honoring those and celebrating real citizens who came in legally and did it the right way and are citizens of the United States. These are illegal aliens, and ICE is just doing the job that the president was elected to do.
Trump has actually caused this problem, in my view. And I understand what you're saying, and certainly some people, obviously, who are legal don't belong here. But it's a much more complex picture with with asylum, etc. And this is like a ham-fisted way of addressing the immigrant issue as far as I'm concerned. But the other part of it, where I totally disagree with Joe, is this incursion of troops, etc., into usually what's considered a Democrat enclave. For starters, there's a 1878 law that forbids the military, thank God, because every dictatorship, whether it was Hitler or Lenin or Pinochet or Salazar, started with a president or a leader getting the military, pledges to him, etc., and then going into cities and towns with the military, etc. And I just hope this is not going to be a prelude to the military being outside voting places in 2026.
Joe,
and that's the real agenda that's going on
here.
here.
And what about that, the chilling effect? Look, these mayors are saying, we're fine. We don't need the military coming in on our own people. You seem to think it's going to be held up in court, but the president has had some setbacks in court, specifically on National Guard coming into some places.
Jim, that was for the next segment, but we'll make the point now. There's only setbacks in the district court, maybe in Court of Appeals. All the Trump stop. The people who know say, just wait. They're wrong. These courts are putting their own personal policy.
But he's having to invoke the Insurrection Act.
So he hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yes, he has.
but that's the next step.
No, that's supposedly
in
the
order
next
to
step.
sustain it legally, right? Or
No. Before he gets there, the law, and I looked this up last night, he's invoking the provision that he can send in National Guard if he's unable to execute the laws of the United States. And he's using that to say, I can't execute my immigration laws because these sanctuary cities are stopping me. I don't think this has anything to do with anything more than we have illegal aliens, millions who came over. The people overwhelmingly support removing them, especially the worst of the worst, and we're protecting criminals and others by trying to stop the president from executing the laws. Stop sanctuary cities, and we'll be okay.
First of all, I hate the expression of aliens, okay? They're human beings who fled from countries sometimes under very adverse circumstances. And if you have any religious belief at all, regardless of what it is, they're our brothers and sisters. So they shouldn't be treated like aliens from an invasion from Mars. So I mind that characterization to start with, okay? That doesn't mean I agree they belong in the country. If they are illegal, they have to follow the laws, etc. But putting that aside a moment, there probably is a legal ground, and it will be upheld when he's using federal people like ICE, et cetera, maybe a bit of the military, if it's a federal building that they're defending, because that sort of is a federal jurisdiction. But there is absolutely no question we ought to be concerned about the infiltration and the use of troops under pretext, particularly in areas that are Democrat, because it's partisanship, it's a way of like zinging Democrats, et cetera, and it's illegal under that 1878 Act. So this isn't, and I hope Joe, you're right, it's only for a limited purpose, but let's wait and see. But I don't like the incursion of military troops into United States cities, particularly when they're Democrat-oriented places.
Jim, illegal alien is the term used in the United States Code to refer to these individuals. Congress did it. So they are properly called illegal aliens. I understand Arlene's point. He's not putting them into Democratic cities because they're Democratic cities. He's putting them into sanctuary cities who refuse to hold criminals when they come out of jail. And so what Trump, if you don't want to hold them, we're going to go in and get them ourselves. If you cooperate and hold the criminals like you're supposed to do and not go with this left-wing protect them agenda, we don't need to do that. So I think this is cause and effect. It's these cities defying the laws of the United States because, let's be clear here, they want to protect, in their words, the immigrant communities. That's all
what
over the
about
paper here.
unintended consequences? You've had some people who have been taken, deported, and they found out, oops, we made a mistake, and they're in another country, and you can't get them back. Is that just collateral damage? You can't. That's the cost of doing business?
It shouldn't be collateral damage. And by the way, let's focus on Providence, because that's what we've been talking about. I think it's unfair to say Smiley runs a sanctuary city. The fact of the matter is the Providence Police have, in fact, tried to enforce the perimeters, et cetera. So they have, in effect, done exactly what they should, in fact, do. The state of Rhode Island has a policy that if someone, in fact, is being discharged from the ACI, like they should alert the federal enforcement agency, ICE, et cetera, if that person is in the country illegally, that they're being discharged from the ACI, et cetera. So this broad brush that everybody, including Rhode Island, is a sanctuary city, I think is a total exaggeration as to what the reality is.
Well, Jim, just one example. They went to help an ICE agent who apparently crashed his car. Now we've got an investigation about this poor police officer and police department just for assisting an ICE agent because, oh no, he was helping arrest the illegal aliens. No, he wasn't, and one, he should, but he wasn't. So any assistance, anything at all that is in support of ICE or the law is met with disdain and what we're talking about today, a complete backlash by the city of Providence with overwhelming support in the council and the immigrant community.
I think the mayor
Absolutely.
has taken a more moderate point and has said, look, if there's a crime going on or there's some type of disorderly conduct, we'll be there, but we're not going to go in unless there is a judicial warrant to go in. We're not going to help them, and I think Smiley's been clear on that. Right?
Exactly, and there's no investigation. Smiley backed up that cop right away. Some members of the council, which is why they're wrong, is trying to sanction that police officer. We should never let go of qualified
council's
immunity.
gone off the rails, don't you think?
They're off the rails, and we'll see what happens when it goes for a full vote. They'll be totally wrong if they try to change that qualified immunity. Let the police, they're very talented, conscientious people, let them figure out what they can and can't do under the existing rubric of law.
Let's shift gears just a little bit, Joe. We've had you on at various segments during the first 9 months. Sometimes it seems like 9 years that Trump's been in office.
Correct.
You were here right after he got elected, and then we did kind of a 90, 100 day. We're 9 months in now. Scorecard?
Jim, I said every time I've here, and this is the third time, ever since he's been elected, every day I wake up with a big smile on my face. And I realize that in Rhode Island, a lot of people wake up ready to vomit. But he's done what he was elected to do, and he just keeps winning. It's breathtaking for us conservatives what Trump has been able to do in less than 200 days. It appears like more than a president has done in a 4 or even 8 year term.
Is there anything that's given you pause that he's done?
That Trump, yeah, a little bit. They go a little bit overboard with Pam Bondi trying to prosecute somebody who wouldn't make signs for Charlie Kirk.
Do you think that the FBI director James Comey's indictment was just, valid?
Here's the problem with that, and I thought about this a lot. Somebody lied here. They really lied to Commerce. It was Comey or the other guy. The problem is it might well be Comey, but I don't think you can prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think that's probably what the prosecutor said. Yeah, he probably lied to Congress, but how are we going to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt?
Let's zoom out to the larger Trump in the first 9 months.
Okay, yeah. First of all, you don't indict people that you can't think you can prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt for. All right? That's what the American system is.
And that's why the original prosecutor backed off on it.
No vengeance prosecutions and no politicization of the Department of Justice to go after your political enemies. He's totally wrong doing that. I wake up in the morning and I'm worried about him turning us into a military state. That October meeting that he had with all the military sitting there where he's castigating past presidents who are the commander-in-chief, et cetera, totally inappropriate. Having that commission when he started, interviewing generals, telling them to resign if they weren't going to follow Trump's policies, totally wrong. The military has to be independent. Don't turn us into a police state, and I'm afraid he's moving in that direction. I beg to come here and eat humble pie and be wrong about that. Please, may I be wrong. But he deserves watching.
Jim, everything Trump is doing, Biden did. The difference is Trump does it right out loud. He's not hiding anything. The censorship with the government, the shutting down political opponents, for crying out loud, they didn't even want Donald Trump on the ballot. They were starting this before he even was elected, trying to keep the president of the United States, the candidate, from running. He was off YouTube. He was off X. They censored entities all over the place in the government. Biden went after his political enemies. The whole witch hunt, the Russia probe, they all did the same thing. The difference is Trump does it right out there, right in your face.
Was the election stolen? You believe the election was stolen?
I believe the election was influenced by mass mail ballot what do they call it? The ballot collecting, the harvesting, ballot harvesting, which is illegal in some states. Is that illegally stolen? No. But is it wrong? Yes. And it's been stopped in many states now.
But not enough to overturn the election.
I don't think that
The
was the
harvesting wasn't
inclusion.
ever even proven. Ken Block here in Rhode Island has a seminal work on investigation. He was hired by the Republican committee to find exactly that harvesting, and he didn't
Oh, no,
find
it was proven. It was proven, but it was legal harvesting. The states allowed harvesting. Hundreds and hundreds of, and cripe, in my election, you had harvesting for mayor. You'd have somebody go out, collect 150, 200 ballots from the nursing homes and turn them in. People didn't know how they voted. In any event, the bottom line is, was that enough to tip the election? No, and that's what Ken Block and the others found.
Oh, sure. When I lost the election, I would have liked to think and complain that it was harvest. But you know what? You didn't vote for me, so be it. Okay, end of story. But
I lost
certainly,
by 21 votes. So
Yeah, well, both of you
I
have been
didn't
in
lose
the
by that-
arena.
I didn't lose by that many votes either. But putting it away, the fact of the matter is you've got to follow the law. You are not the law. There's 3 equal branches of government. You should not be usurping the Congress, which is so weak, it's unbelievable. The judiciary, buddy, stay in your lane, and that's something Trump hasn't learned yet.
All right, we're going to have both of you back on the year anniversary. We'll talk about it then. All right. Arlene and Joe, we really appreciate you coming in. We'll have both of you back at some point. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Lively right here on Ocean State Media. Subscribe to us on YouTube and tell us what you think in the comments section below the video.